Hello everyone, hello, I'm live. I'll be doing some digital painting today. Hello. I'm just getting things set up very quick. Let's see. So today I want to just go ahead and talk about Legend of Zelda The Ocarina of Time remake as I'm drawing, or actually as I'm digitally painting this traditional sketch of Volvagia, the dragon from the Fire Temple, and Adult Link from The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. And I'll be using Procreate. So, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. This is the first stream of 2024, my first art live stream of 2024. Alright, so get things started. I want to make sure I'm doing all of this. Make sure I tweet this out very quickly and we'll get started. Alright, so I just want to know what you guys think of The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time and the remake that's going to happen eventually. That is the news, and that's why I've been wanting to do this fan art for a long time. I made this drawing I think over a year ago. Actually, it's like 2 years ago, but I've always been wanting to digitally paint this, so it's gonna be fun. Right. All right, so let's get started. Hello, everybody. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to be using Procreate, and I do have, you can see it right here, I do have Volvagia on my phone. And this I'm going to be zooming in and out just so that I can get the colors as perfectly as I can. All right, so I'll be zooming in. But before I do that, I was cutting things out, making things as clean as possible. So what I'm gonna do is just clean up some of this background, and then I'll start cleaning things out. So I just used I just copied the exact same color of this sketchbook paper that I had right here. So I just copied this, and now I'm just gonna start just airbrushing some of these things out and then cutting things and then just making it as clean as possible. So, and like I always do, I work in layers. So I did a duplicate layer. We shrink it just a little bit and start cutting things out. So what I'm gonna do is use this lasso type of section right over here, use the rectangle, and this is what I'm gonna do. And with 3 fingers, I'm gonna go ahead and swipe it down and use a cut just so I can cut that out. And again, with my pencil, cut things out, 3 fingers, cut. 3 fingers swipe down and cut. Right, I'm gonna zoom back in. Oh, okay, let me do that one more time. All right, there you go. All right, so I'm gonna go and start working with my layers. Make this as big as I can. Okay, so I already made a layer right here. I'm gonna try and do. So what I'm gonna try and do is do maybe an overlay or a multiply. Is actually the one that works the most. Let's go ahead and try the multiply layer and see how that looks. I'm gonna choose a red. We'll be choosing a red color. And let's see how it looks on top. So let's zoom in. I'm gonna zoom into my camera right here. All right, so let's see how this red looks if I use multiply, okay? Let me fix my camera. All right, and let's get started. I'm gonna use this deep red on the outside of the dragon's body. So this is Volvagia. And then I'll show you guys how to clean out some of these edges. Now I'm just using this airbrush that resembles a soft airbrush. So and again, I'm trying to preserve my under drawing, which is a traditional ink pen drawing. So this is originally done with micron ink pens. So and if we look at our reference photo, he's made out of dark red and with orange flames. So let me zoom out just so you guys can see what I'm working with. That way we can cover the entire body. Let's focus on him and then we'll go for Link. So, all right, so So the outer part of its body is like a hard shell. And if you played the N64 original or the Legend of Zelda 3D, Ocarina of Time 3D for the Nintendo 3DS, this was such a fun boss fight because you had to use the Bigoron hammer to break its face. And that's why I drew Link with the Bigoron's hammer right here. You had to break its face in order to give it some damage with your sword afterwards. So that was a fun fight. I just remember playing that game for the first time, and it was such a cool fight because it was going in and out of these lava holes in the arena that you were fighting it in. So cool, so cool. I just liked the way that it had its fire hair was really dope. And it would try and swing at you with its hair and then with its claws and throw fire at you, which was really dope. It's one of the most memorable boss fights, or one of the most memorable boss fights in that game just because of the spectacle of it all. So cool. Alright, so I'm going in pretty rough right here just to get the initial base color, which is always important to get the base color of the subject that you're coloring. And then we'll be able to clean it up further as we get into more of the details. So I'm almost done with this initial red color. I'm gonna go into for the cheeks right here just to make sure, because this one, its mouth is actually a blend of orange and the dark reds. All right, so we have the initial red. Okay, so now let's go for the orange underneath its belly and in its hair. It's all fire. Let's zoom in again. Let's choose a cool looking orange. Let's do a medium to light orange first. And we'll go from there. And actually, I'm gonna start using something a bit rougher, just actually not yet. Let's go in for the base. Let's go in for the base. Now, because this is actually going to be a lot easier for me to do a shape, I'm going to outline it quickly, and then we're going to go ahead and use almost like a paint bucket tool in order to color the entire thing and save us some time. So we're going to do a quick outline and just shape out the entire part of the hair. So, and this is one of the coolest things about digital painting, is so much time-saving techniques and correcting mistakes if we need to. And we're going to do a really rough outline, and then look, all I do is grab the color over here and drag it, and then we're going to drop. Now I think if I had it open, so make sure that your shape is closed or else it's going to bleed and flood the entire page. Try that again. So I have a few things open. Let's go ahead and close that. I'm going to choose the calligraphy monoline one. This one's a solid one, so let's do that again. Close up these shapes. All right, there you go. I think that was the only one that was open. And there you go, solid. And if we look at our layer, just so we can see how it looks, it's basically just outlines and vector and pixel shapes, just drawn on top of our original drawing. And if we play around with things like the multiply layer, that's what I was going for, the multiply layer, you can see what's underneath it. So I think I like the multiply layer, darken, color burn. Overlay does not work. I like to go through these just to see what my options are. So yeah, the best one is the multiply layer. And you can even do the opacity just to see how it looks. And we're going to do a combination of multiply layers and different layers on top of our final drawing as well, for all the details, for the shadows, lighting, and things like that. All right, so we're going to zoom back out and finish. Get something a little bit darker, a little bit more of a, and finish the hair. Because if you see it, there's multiple oranges, like a dark red orange and a medium, and then it gets into yellow. Right, drag and drop, and fill in those shapes. Everything is a shape. Go around the horns, we're going underneath its belly. Drag and drop. This is fairly rough right now, but we'll get cleaner later. And for the most part, we have at least the fire, hair, the top of the body. Now we need the underbelly, which is going to be another orange. And we're going to do that a little bit more of a yellow. Or a lighter orange. So that's another shape right here. Let's go and do that. And again, we're going to do a different layer eventually when we want to do all of those cool details. Make it look like there's flames underneath the belly and almost that magma lava look. So the first step is to always do a rough base layer of color, a base paint, and then go from there. And I'm gonna do this in a different layer just so that we have options later on. I'm gonna do this one underneath. I'll do this one a bit more of a dark orange. Because I actually find it that if I do a flood of color, of similar colors, they tend to do this weird, I'll show you right now, this weird bleed. Okay, we're gonna drag and drop. Drag and drop, and now we have at least that part of the body complete. And now with its face, it's a dark gray and various grays, and with green eyes, we're gonna go ahead and do that. I think I want to do that in a separate layer as well, just in case these colors start to affect each other, but let's get a medium tone gray first. We have to multiply it so it can kind of blend in with our underdrawing that we're trying to preserve. So this part of its face, the horns, outer, almost like magma rock, does resemble magma, and that's what's protecting its face. Oh, you know what? I actually messed up right here. So I saw where I made a mistake right now, but we'll fix that right now. So this is initially part of its stomach. I'm gonna fix his face. We might as well start doing its nails as well because those were also gray. And now not all part of its nails are gray, so we'll fix that right now. All right, so now let's look at our layers. Let's remove the underdrawing, and that's how it looks with our base shapes. Remove them one by one. That's how it looks like. So this is the way I like to work because it makes things easier to correct mistakes, and also it gives you more control when you want to do all those cool details. So here is the original underdrawing right here. That's how it looks. All right, so let's zoom in again. I kind of want to start off with the face and see how detailed I can go in. All right, so we're gonna zoom into the face and start doing all of those cool details. So right, so I'm gonna go and clean it up just a little bit again. Right, so there's a tint of green. So now I'm gonna start playing around with different brushes that have some texture to it. So I know that there is some industrial looking ones. So there's a concrete. I think these charcoal looking ones might simulate almost like a rock texture. So we're gonna try that out. And let's go something a little bit lighter. So it can really show through. Okay, so I'm already liking how this is looking with the giving it some nice gritty texture that it desperately needs just to give it that look of rock and magma. Now I'm gonna go in a bit darker just to see how the shadows might look like. I'm gonna blend these together. Okay, so that's looking pretty decent so far. Now I'm gonna add a tint of green and see how that looks like, because it looks like there's a hint of green as well in Volvagia's mask, or not mask, but it's on its rock face. So let's see how that looks like. Just a little bit. It's gonna make it stand out and blend in perfectly. And then we're gonna add some highlights, and that's really gonna pop out as well. Let's try and add a bit of a rougher texture and see how that looks like. And our light is coming from our right side, so all right, so these are going to be some of the highlights. Let's see how they look like. Now let's try something a bit softer. Let's go back. Now we're going to add even more contrast by fixing those eyes. So I'm going in a bit brighter. I'm going in for the monoline just to get it even cleaner. I'm gonna do a bright. I'm gonna do a soft airbrush look. And then we're gonna add some shadows, so a deep green is gonna help out as well. Right underneath. And you'll see the depth that it's gonna give. And so there we have at least we have the face, the eyes, and I think I'm gonna start going into the flaming hair, because there's actually some cool brushes here with Procreate that has a lot of flame. There's a lot of alpha transparency, like for example this light brush right here. For example, if we go to the element section, we have smoke and flames, and it does give us this night bloom lighting effect that looks really cool. So we're gonna go ahead and try that in a little bit. Let's start off with some yellow. So hello everyone, thank you for watching. Hey, hello. Hello everyone, thank you for watching. All right, so right, so let's move on to the hair, okay? Let's zoom into my flaming hair. Let's see how this works. We're gonna go for yellow flames. Let's see if it doesn't go a little bit overboard, but we'll see how it looks. I'm gonna zoom all the way in just so you guys can see. And if it's a little too much, we're gonna go ahead and actually let's make another layer, and that way we can play around with that. Let's go to multiply and see how that looks. Okay, so multiply doesn't work very well. We're gonna just do a normal, and we'll play around with that after, and we'll play around with the opacity for that layer. And we're only gonna use the yellow in the middle, so this is the cool thing about digital paintings, that you can experiment, especially with Procreate, with a bunch of different texture brushes and see if it actually looks organic or not, and if it's for the style that you're looking for. And I'm already thinking this is going to be a bit too much, so I'm going to actually start erasing some in just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go to the eraser tool and choose the exact same flame as the eraser, and this is going to give us a clean reduction without it looking weird. So this is what I mean. Watch, I'm going to start erasing with that flame, and look, it's going to look well blended in. Now I'm erasing and see if that looks a little bit better. So this way it looks like it's not so crazy with the bloom lighting effect that fire does have, which is usually pure white. So see, when it's a bit subtle, it's actually looking a lot cleaner, which is really dope looking right now. So for now, I'm going to leave it like that and go underneath again in my other layer and play around with a actually a darker red outside of the fire. A more of an orange red, a red orange. So that doesn't look right. Yeah, so this flame is not going to have to use it sparingly. I'm going to use it at the edges of its tail and see how that looks like. If I press too hard, that's when the yellow starts coming out. And next, I'm going to try out a different brush and see if we can get those oranges that I want. Right, so let's look at different elements like Maybe the smoke one. A little weird. I'm gonna go with this bamboo and see what that gives. Okay, that's looking dope. Okay. So this is more of an artistic type of a brush, a bamboo looking one, and I'm gonna make the opacity go down just a little bit, and let's see if it looks a bit like flames if I use it sparingly. I'm trying to give it a smoky look. I'm actually kind of liking that wispy look that it's giving. So yeah, this is a cool looking brush. This bamboo brush is giving exactly that fire paint texture that I was looking for. Okay, so that fire I'm really digging. It's looking so cool. I'm gonna zoom in all the way so you can see all the detail. That's looking really nice. So I'm gonna erase some of these little. All right, cool. I'm really digging those flames. Okay. Fire hair is looking really cool. All right, so now let's see what I'm gonna do next. Since I'm already working with its face, let's go in for that light that's coming out of its mouth. All right. Fix my camera. All right, how's everyone doing? Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. All right, so let's move on to part of its mouth. Let's give it that glow that we want. So let's go back to the flame part of the layer right here, and let's choose a nice pink. Let's go back to our recent, go to flames, and let's see how that looks like. Okay, that is a very pure white look, but we can fix that. So we're going to get our airbrush and go around it and give it that softness that it needs. Now let's erase some of this just to make it a little bit clean. All right, so we're gonna keep it simple for now, like that. Okay, so we have that. Now let's play around with... I really want to play with the flames that's inside of the stomach area and the belly. So let's go to our lip, to our underlayer right here. Actually, it's right here, our first layer that we created. All right, let's see what we can do with that underbelly. We're gonna go back with our flames and choose, and I'm gonna choose a yellow, and let's see how that's gonna look like. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna have to draw on top of it. So we're gonna keep our flames. So I feel like this is gonna be a bit more subtle than the hair, but it's gonna give us this, I think it's trying to look like an illuminating magma that's underneath like a volcano. So I'm going pretty light just to see how it's gonna look. And we're gonna try some red. Let's see if that helps out with a darker red. Let's see if it gives it that glow that I want. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is add a different texture on top of the belly to make it look like rock. And we're gonna go back to that brush that I used earlier that's more of a stone. So I'll go ahead and try that. But first, let's just get some of these flaming light, the glow underneath. I'm gonna go back to this area and I'm gonna do the carbon stick and use a dark red, an even darker red, and see how that looks like. Yep, that's exactly what I was looking for. I'm looking for this right here. All right, so I'm gonna play around with another texture and see if that makes it look even more of a some rough scratches. We're looking for imperfections as well. Okay, so just a little bit of this is actually giving it a nice rocky texture that I'm also going to use outside in part of its shell on the outside of its body, of its snake-like body. So we'll use that in a little bit. All right, so let's go to this layer of its body and start adding these dark colors. And I'm going for the almost black look, but I'm going to go a bit more of a red. And that is the very molten, dried up lava look. And that's going to be those perfect shadows as well. All right, now I'm gonna start adding a bit more of a medium tone. See how that looks like. Then I'm gonna go in for a nice yellow for the belly. So I'm really liking this rough texture that it's adding. All right, so far I'm really digging the detail. I'm really digging that detail. All right, so hello everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. We're over an hour in. All right, so I'm drawing Volvagia from The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time, and we're doing this in Procreate. We're digitally painting this. So let's go ahead and take a look at the time-lapse video feature that it has. Let's go to video, time-lapse replay. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how long it looks. Hello everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you, thank you. I like this time-lapse feature because it looks really cool when everything's just going super fast at a high speed. I'm gonna zoom. That's really cool. All right. I'm gonna zoom back into its face and clean up some things. I'm gonna clean up some of the mouth. All right, so not perfect just yet, but we can always add more detail, especially in the face and the mask area. I feel like it needs some nice white highlights to make it really stand out. So I'm gonna go for the bamboo. Choose a bright white, make it as thin as I can, and go for it. And I just noticed that this is more of a brown in the eye, so I'll fix that in a little bit. Right, I'm gonna go back into the face and get a brown color. Now we're going to go back and I'm actually going to erase some of the highlights because I think it's a little too much in some of the areas. Too much highlights can also ruin. Some of these don't make sense because the light isn't hitting exactly where it needs to. So we're going to erase some of these. That would actually look a lot better. All right, so now let's go ahead and color Link. Finally go for Link, and I do have another just for reference. I have a link right here for reference. Zoom all the way in. Create a brand new layer. I think this is, yeah, we're going to make this a multiply layer. And let's go from there. Right, anyone who's joining me, welcome. Thank you so much for watching. This is my brand new art stream of 2024. All right, if you've never checked out my channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell for more fan art content and tutorials as well. All right, so I do a little bit of both tutorials and general art drawing. And stay tuned for more Skillshare videos as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Link. And I'm going to go back to my recent. I'm going to go to the monoline brush. Let's choose a nice green for Link's tunic. Do a medium dark green. And again, I'm going for a shape first for the brand new underdrawing because Link zoom out just a little bit. As for this, I do want to cover the color as much as I can, as fast as possible. So we're gonna draw a shape around his cap and drag and drop. So Procreate makes that super easy, super easy. And for smaller areas, I'm just gonna draw that in. Makes it simple. All right, let's go for his little skirt, tunic area. All right, let's go for his boots, which are a brown color. Okay, those are too dark, too dark. Let's go. Need a soft brown color, almost like a coffee. This one looks like it's the perfect one. Drag and drop. And I think the gloves are the exact same color. And oh, and I forgot about this option. If you drop a color, you go to continue filling. And all you do is tap and it starts filling in all of those colors, which is pretty cool. I noticed a mistake. I made the boots a little too high, so I know it was probably the perspective, but I'll fix that. Yeah, I made the boots a little too high, so I'm gonna go to the original drawing and do some editing real quick with the clone tool. This clone tool is really cool because you choose exactly what you want to clone, and you start drawing right on top of it. I'll do a soft brush. And there you go. All right, we're going. Okay, let's go back to finish painting and coloring Link. Let's go for all those is tights, which are more of a gray white. Drag and drop. I'm actually painting a little bit more outside of my original drawing just because I know that I made a few mistakes, which is okay. And I might as well paint that shield as well in a little bit. So we're going to drag and drop, continue filling. All right, let's go for that shield. Going to be a darker gray. A little too much. All right, now the rest of that shield, I know it's a blue color, so now I'll fix all the other colors in a little bit. And that sword, the Master Sword, is a purple color. And now let's paint his blonde hair. and his each skin. All right, and last we're gonna paint that hammer. All right, so all right, now we're gonna do Triforce area right here, which is just a quick yellow, and then the bird, which is the family crest from The Legend of Zelda. Skyward Sword is where that eventually came out in. That is the Skyloft birds from The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. So that is the emblem that's been on this shield for a long time. Okay, so that is Link. Very simple, but I will be correcting his color very soon because he does have flames surrounding his entire body and in the area that he's in, so there's going to be a red glow just like in this part right here. And eventually I'll draw Navi in this picture as well. Oh, and you know what? I actually made a mistake because I'm going to actually draw him with his red tunic because that is the heat resistant tunic from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So let's go ahead and do that right now. There you go. That is the red color that we needed. That is the red tunic. That is the heat resistant tunic from Ocarina of Time when you're an adult Link. So almost forgot about that. Now I feel like I want to make Link a bit more. So I should have done this earlier, but all right, so I'm just correcting a few mistakes, making it a little cleaner. All right, there you go. Cool. Now it's looking a lot better. I just make sure I had to fix up his stance just a little bit because it was looking a little wonky. But now that it's there, let's go. All right, hello everyone. Thank you for watching. We're over an hour in now, so that's gonna be. So I got a lot done. Gonna be a little bit more before I get into the final details on Link's costume, his tunic. But let's go and give this illustration some background because it's looking a little off. I want to give it that red color that it needs. So I'm gonna do a new layer. I'm gonna move it all the way underneath and do a multiply layer. And it's gonna have a red tinge to it. So I'm gonna go to the organic. There's this cotton brush, and let's see how that looks. And it looks almost like smoke, so we'll see. Oh, nice. It's definitely giving some right. Let's do a quick and dirty just to see how it looks. Instead of multiply, we're gonna go to normal. You know what? This one instead is going to, we're gonna delete that. I'm going to duplicate this layer again so I won't lose it. We're gonna lock it. And I'm gonna draw directly on top of my original traditional drawing, and that's gonna make sure that none of the other layers are affected. So we're gonna draw directly on top of this one. Let's see how that looks like. Or what I can also do is change the color tone of the entire page. That's going to be a better idea. I'm going to color balance, and let's see how turning this entire page red might help out. Okay, that alone helped out so much. Now we're going to go to color, go to hue, saturation, and brightness. We're going to turn it down. We're going to go to curves. So yeah, that color tone alone helped it out so much. I think it needs a bit more of a and this is a cool thing too. I can start decreasing the opacity and see if it's a little too much. So at 71%, I think that's a nice balance to have underneath. So that's, we can work with that. And this looks like smoke, so for the charcoal, let's go back to that charcoal and a little too obvious. Now we're going to add some highlights and some, go to the elements and play around with the smoke. Let's see what that adds. All right, so I found a cool looking rain texture. All right, we're gonna add some yellow to that flame that's coming out of the volcano underneath the feet in the ground. So that's gonna be more of a magma that's starting to spew out. All right, we need some yellow. I'm just gonna add some shadow to the floor, give it some shadows. I'm giving Volvagia a glow. All right, so I'm not done with Link just yet. He needs a lot more detail. He needs a lot more. He's looking a little plain right now, but that's what I have so far. Right, so we're about almost 2 hours in, everyone. We're almost 2 hours in. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. All right, so hello everyone, hello. Thank you for watching. All right, so
I've been making things for a
all right, so let's start. going in for links details. So all right, so I'm gonna go in and add some better details for the colors. So for that master sword needs to be a lot darker. And I am gonna give it more of a darker purple. And those handles are a dark green as well. I'm gonna try this sketching brush. So now we're gonna fix some of this tunic, which is a red, and I'm gonna go with this brush that I have. I feel like it needs some texture, so let's see if this soft pastel is going to work. And then a bit more highlights as well. And it does need some highlights in his tunic, in his now we're gonna add some dark shadows underneath. Now we're going to add a bit more yellow tinges to his tunic because we need some of those reflective lights that are coming out of the flames in the ground and from the dragons. So this is going to really make it feel like the environment is around him, and that's very important to make sure that it's immersive as well. So watch, I'm going to add just small highlights in the hammer, his gloves, even on the shield. And that's really going to make it feel like there's some reflections of light. I am going to be fixing that face though. That looks weird, but even with those small changes, it already feels like he belongs in this environment. Look at that. Completely looks a lot better than it was originally. Now let's zoom in all the way and erase some of these small imperfections. Hair. We're gonna fix this right now. We're gonna use our clone tool and fix Link's face because that's bugging me. Yeah, this ear part is annoying. So, and then this right here of this hat is annoying me too. So this one I'm going to Okay, that looks so much better. That looks so much better. All right, so in a little bit, I'm going to draw Link's Fairy because I completely forgot to do it in the original. I'm going to make it look like it always belonged there. I feel like I'm going to draw Navi probably in this area right here. Or maybe to the left, we'll see. But I will be making another layer for that. And eventually I will be blending both of these together. Lock that into place. So now we're going to see how it looks without any of these turned on. So that's Link. Without any of these colors on. Okay, so I'm going to make another layer and draw Navi. And I'm going to start with an inking brush just to kind of mimic the original ink drawing that I had before. Fine tip in black. I'm going to do the opacity just a little bit less. Let's try technical pen. Let's draw I'm going to draw the wings first. Okay, and then now I'm going to draw using the airbrush. And because Link's Fairy is light blue, but because when it's targeting an enemy, it will be red, so now we're going to do a white or more of a pink. And this is super easy to do. And now we're going to do a little bit of a hint of yellow. And here's what's going to be cool. This smudge tool right here, we're going to choose the airbrush and we're going to blend some of this in. It can be a little bit more seamless. And then we're going to go for the flame again. And let's see if that adds a bit more of a nice glow in the middle. Instead, we're going to use the light brush. So I wanted that glow right there. We're gonna smudge this again. And now we're gonna make those wings. So that's gonna be more of a chalky. Let's see if this wet acrylic helps. Yeah, this wet acrylic really helped for that see-through look of wings. Now I'm gonna use a bit of a pink red, try and blend that together. What I think it's gonna help is using some I'm gonna actually erase the outline of the wing, so that's messing it up. So I want to go over it again, and that's really gonna help. Yeah, we don't need these outlines for the wings. The wings need to be see-through. All right, so I'm gonna start with the wings again. I'm gonna use blue. All right, now we're going to use white. Use airbrush. Right now, I'm gonna probably turn down the opacity. Start. I'm going for a softer look for her wings, for Navi's wings, just so that it looks like they're a bit more transparent. So I feel like that should be perfect for Navi. Okay, I'm really liking these colors. I feel like the ground and the background need a bit more of a red, so we're gonna go back to our original layer right here. And let's choose a nebula texture. Let's see what that does. Yeah, no, that's not going to work. Not going to work. Let's see this ocean texture, what that does. Nope. Weird. See, these clouds might be... Yeah, these clouds are going to be it. Especially in the background. I'm going to smudge. All right. Let's see what else we can do. I think we can do a lot more. Cool, we're over 2 hours in, everyone. 2 hours in. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll be right back. Be right back, everyone. All right, everyone, I'm back. I'm back. All right, everyone, I'm back. So we're gonna go on for a few more minutes and let's see what else I can add. So we're going to add a bit more of detail on Link's boots and on his gloves, and fix his arms just a little bit, and his hair is looking a little funky. Let's go all the way into his hair. I'm gonna go for the sketching. Right now I'm gonna go for Link's skin tone color, which is a very peachy color for his ears. We're gonna add a bit more highlights into the hammer. My link needs a bit more highlights, so cool. So at least for now, that is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Adult Link, and Volvagia from the Fire Temple. And I really like how this turned out. It looked really, really cool. So we're gonna do one more time-lapse replay and see how that looks overall. And hello everyone, thank you guys so much for watching, and hit that like button. Please hit that like button. So this is how it looks sped up, and right, and that is all for my live stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you later. Bye bye.